Are you in search of a podcast that has answers to life's deepest questions? Well, this ain't it. Join four friends as they discuss topics that might be mainstream, but not common knowledge. From personal finance, starting a business, and even unsolicited retirement advice. It's guaranteed to be intellectually stimulating. This is the I'm Not Dumb But podcast. And on this podcast, we're going to be talking about the debt ceiling. Should we care about it? My name is Cesar, joined always by Rob.
Ew.
And Victor.
What up?
What's good, fellas? How you guys doing?
Good, bro.
Yeah?
Should we care about it?
Should we care about?
How high is the ceiling? Do we know?
I like high ceilings, though. I'm a big high ceiling guy.
I like that too.
9
Like a
feet.
gable roof kind of guy?
Ooh, gable
Yeah.
roof.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means, but
I don't
it
know what that
sounds
means
fucking
either.
fancy.
Should I start
That means
watching
that-
those HDTV shows to find out?
Don't flatter yourself. Rob watched one episode of Bridgerton. He's already talking about
Oh, yeah?
gable roofs.
I've seen like 3 half episodes. Pretty good. But yeah, have you guys been catching up with this debt ceiling stuff on the news?
No.
It's over for us. I've been prepping because
Oh, yeah?
I think it's going to be the end. Yeah.
Game over, man. It's game over.
I got a few RX bars and about 40,000 rounds of ammunition, but I think I'm ready for
For the zombies.
Yeah, I just
'Cause they can't
I don't
pay-
know what to
you can't pay
expect,
their
and I
debt.
don't know what's happening.
Well, listen, I am actually scared and I'm worried. And I'll tell you why. First, this is the first time I'm actually paying attention to what the debt ceiling actually is. And second, unlike the 78 times before they had to raise it, this one's different. Because this one is the one right now. Not the one next year and not the one previous, but this one's the one right now.
Okay. You got to run me through it, man. I have no listen. I'm not dumb, but what's the debt ceiling?
So the debt ceiling is actually just literally how much we can borrow to pay our bills, right? That's literally all it is. So the federal government, right, it along with the treasury, it collects money through taxes. It has to. It's that money's allocated to bills that they have to pay, right? The federal government is always running a deficit, so they're always spending more than what they're making. That difference, the treasury has to go out and borrow money to cover its bills. So the debt ceiling is just the total amount that we can borrow as a country, as a federal government. That's literally
So
all
it's
it
like our credit limit, like
Yep.
on my credit card where it says like you got a credit limit of 5,000.
Exactly.
That's what that
It's
is?
exactly what it is. The only difference is the bank is not telling you, oh, you're not haggling the bank to try to increase the limit when you're about to, spend as much as they give you, right?
So who does the government, who do they got to go to? Like, who are they haggling with?
So the treasury is the one that administers the money and collects the money through taxes.
Mhm.
And they're the ones that take the money that they collect from taxes and they pay off these programs. Congress and the president are the ones that make the laws to say how much taxes is being collected and where that money's going,
Hmm.
right? So it's actually in essence, this debt ceiling is kind of dumb. And I'll tell you,
It doesn't sound like a big deal at all.
it's
Yeah.
not. It's after a little bit of research, I mentioned earlier, like they've literally raised it 79 times before this. And at a certain point, the debt ceiling, this whole narrative is just a political tool for whatever party to try to get something passed. No one wants to be the party in charge that causes, so if the federal government reaches the debt ceiling, right, it can't pay its bills. And that's bad because then after that, the rest of the world is going to say, well, if you can't pay your bills, we're going to expect more interest out of the bonds that you provide for us, and it just doesn't look good as a country. So,
Well, then don't spend as much.
well, that's the thing.
Motherfuckers.
That's the thing. This debt ceiling is actually money that's already spent.
Right.
So they're
Ah.
arguing. They're literally arguing when they talk about we got to do budget cuts, and they're not arguing for the money they already spent. Those are things that they're arguing for the future. The debt ceiling is money they had already allocated and already spent for. And I'll tell you like this. So the debt ceiling, so this is the process. Congress votes to spend money that they don't have. Then they vote again so the Treasury can borrow that money so they can go out and spend it. That's literally the process.
Who are they borrowing it from?
Oh, they're when they so in essence, Congress and the president are giving the Treasury the ability to borrow money. And when I say borrow money, they're just creating bonds and just selling it.
Oh, so we don't owe anyone.
Well, we owe whoever buys those bonds.
Oh.
Yeah, we buy. It's the bond. A bond is a
Oh,
loan.
so okay. Yeah.
In essence, yeah.
I see what you're saying.
Mm.
So
And who gives a shit if if the other people are buying shit at a certain price
it's
at
not even
market
about,
value?
and it's not even about the price. It's literally just like at this point, it's just a political tool used for whichever party is not in charge to be like, listen, I'm not gonna raise the debt ceiling until I get these concessions.
So they're using it as a bargaining tool, and it's basically like a political hot potato where no one wants to be left with the one who didn't vote for the fucking debt ceiling.
Yep.
We're fucked.
We're not-
I might open one of those RX bars though, because I feel like this is not a big deal at all. But
And if you look at which is funny because I was going through like trying to do a little bit of research. I went onto YouTube and I clicked on like debt ceiling explained, and then I get a video from like 2023, and I'm like, all right. And then I see another video from like 2019, and then I'm like, all right. And then I see a video from 2013, and I'm like, and literally the video is just the same people saying the same things. Oh,
but did we like default once?
we've never defaulted. So
Okay,
when
we never defaulted.
we've gotten close in 2013, and one of the a company that grades bonds, they downgraded us.
Yeah, I
And when
remember
you
that.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
in,
but they
I think-
can't be trusted.
Yeah,
But I think they also realized what happened when they downgraded us.
Yeah.
Didn't
Yeah,
like-
but rating companies are just regular fucking companies.
they're a bunch of bullshits too. They have their own issues.
they're for-profit companies. Like if they don't like you and they want to send a message, they can downgrade you. If you are selling bullshit but you give them, I don't know, favor in some sort of way, they were going to give you a AAA rating even though you're selling dog shit.
So this is another like straw man
It's a
argument.
scam. It's a scam.
It's a scam.
It's a scam. It's all a scam.
This happened after World War One, because Congress, every time they needed to buy something, they needed to vote on it. So Congress got tired of it, and in 1917 they figured out, all right, let's just create this artificial ceiling where if we spend that much, we come back, we vote on it, and that's what happened.
So let me ask you something, right? I'm always hearing about the U.S. and the debt ceiling. I don't really hear about other countries and a debt ceiling.
And that's because there's only 2 countries in the world that actually have debt ceilings. Number 1, America, guns, fuck yeah, eagle. And 2, Denmark.
Fucking Denmark?
Fucking Denmark. And
Yo,
guess
I
what?
never
Denmark.
liked those fucking people in Denmark.
I'm not done.
Oh,
Wait till
you
I'm
said
done.
2 countries.
Is
How
it
are
Denmark,
you not done?
China?
No,
It's
no, I'm
Denmark,
saying-
China.
No, it's definitely not China. It's not China. No, I'm saying what I wanted to finish was, so Denmark has a debt ceiling, but it's so high that the country will never reach it.
Yo, I wouldn't be so sure. Those fucking Danish motherfuckers,
Hey, careful.
I wouldn't trust them.
When was the last time you had a Danish?
It's been a while.
I had
They're
a
always
cherry
delicious.
Danish the other day. Fucking
Was it
phenomenal.
fresh? I don't think
It
I've
was
ever had a
fresh.
fresh Danish.
Oh,
Has
this
to be fresh.
was like that. It was
Where do you get fresh
flaky
Danishes?
crust, like everything. Oh, it was this place
Conferences that I wasn't invited to.
for the debt ceiling?
No, so
Oh,
other
conferences. Oh yeah, those are the best part.
other departments have like these like conferences, and then I just kind of sneak by and what's going on? Okay, I steal Danish and walk away.
They know what you're up to.
They know it. Yeah, they're like this
You're that
fucking
fucking
guy.
Danish stealer.
I said-
Every
my
time there's
name,
a
I'm like-
free coffee, Caesar's. He's like a scavenger.
Yeah.
COVID was the worst thing that could happen to me, man.
Yeah, is that a box of Joe? Just rolls in there. Yeah, I'll have one. Yeah, fresh.
Hey Bob,
Danish,
how you
bro,
doing?
cherry.
What are you doing here? Just
The Danish,
see ya.
strawberry Danish.
So that's probably why.
There's only 2 countries that use it. The U.S. and Denmark, and like I said, Denmark has one that's so high they're never gonna reach it.
Wait a minute. You're saying Rob, you
Debt
just
ceiling.
said, but Rob just said it's so high because they spend it all on Danishes.
Yeah, they need it.
They need
the
it in
Danishes.
case a Danish shortage.
You never know.
I mean,
You
listen,
never know.
that
Then they'll
flaky
reach it.
crust, that flaky crust is expensive.
Price of butter goes up.
Done.
Done.
Look at the price of eggs.
Yo, price of eggs are down.
They're going
I got
down.
them for $2.43 today.
I don't know. Yeah, I would buy them in packs of like 20,000.
Look
Yeah,
at this
I mean,
guy. Fucking
you're
Costco guy over there.
You're like shutting down a chicken coop every day.
Ladies, I got a Costco membership. You know what that means? I buy in bulk.
Where you're like making French fries, you've got like you're like throwing the ketchup over your shoulder just to.
I have like a 50-pound bag of potatoes that I keep with me.
It just goes bad. Like after a week,
Yeah.
you're like,
Yo,
I gotta stop buying this shit in bulk.
yo, potatoes don't go bad.
They just grow more potatoes.
They just start growing more potatoes. How fucking awesome is that? What an awesome fucking vegetable.
Nah,
you
man,
throw
I
it
see-
in the fridge, you forget about it for 6 years, and you get, you know what you get? More potatoes.
It grosses me out.
That shit is gross.
Like
Yeah, throw them out.
Yeah, I look at it and I'm like, this thing should not be surviving. Like
You
it's
see legs
thriving
coming out
in
of it.
there.
It's
In
thriving.
the darkness, in the cool.
Nah, I'm not about
Isn't
that.
that why they can like grow it on Mars or some shit? Because it's like the potatoes.
Because of Matt Damon, bro.
Because of Matt Damon, yeah. They're just versatile and they can just adapt.
You
to
saw
any
that
environment.
movie?
Yeah.
Oh. You really are like a conspiracy theorist. I love it. Like
Bro,
anything like
I like
aliens.
everything sci-fi.
I
So
know.
sci-fi-
I never knew that about you either.
I don't know,
So,
man.
I
Everything
haven't even
sci-fi.
seen that movie.
You never seen The Martian?
You haven't seen The Martian?
No,
Bro, he lives.
I heard it's awesome though.
It's pretty good.
He's funny in it.
I mean, he makes potatoes. Now I get it. He's a potato farmer.
But Matt Damon does like always just like random movies. There was like this 2-part movie about Che Guevara.
He's in it?
He's Shay.
Yeah, literally out of nowhere, Matt Damon shows up just straight up speaking Spanish. And I'm like, what the fuck is
What?
going on? Yeah. He wasn't even credited in like the titles. Like I didn't even know he was in the movie. All of a sudden they're like, they needed an American speaking Spanish. Matt Damon just shows up, starts spitting Spanish. I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
It's wild, man.
That's funny.
And now he's coming out with a movie about the debt ceiling.
Yeah.
Is he really?
No,
No one doubt it.
but
it's on Spanish.
you know, Matt Damon, hit me up if you want a screenplay. I can figure one out.
Yeah, we'll write one. Dead ceiling.
We'll write one.
ChatGPT.
It'll be quick. No, so yeah, so those are the only two countries that, use debt ceilings, and the rest of the
So what
world
are the
doesn't.
other countries? What do they do? They just say fuck it.
They just realistically, all advanced nations are gonna just acquire debt as they grow. It's just part of the process. And like it's after, like I said, after 1917, they converted to the debt ceiling, and after a while, after a couple of years, a couple of presidential cycles, they realized that you can use this as a bargaining tool, which is why neither side. I don't think if you ever hear them, like talk back and forth with each other, they're never going to get rid of it, because they know that this is a great way to say, okay, no one wants to be the one that causes default, so I'm going to take my concessions right now, on both sides, both partisan sides.
Yeah, but this is like a boy who cried wolf situation. Like at some point, the public, us, should come to our senses and be like, yo, this is ridiculous. Every president, every term, this is coming up, and like they're not doing anything about it. Like we're gonna start seeing through it.
I know, but
I don't know
after
what we can do
70
about it.
times, like how do
Bro,
we
it's been
not
79 times. Like, I don't think that's going
70
to happen.
times? Like how do you cry wolf that many times?
And still get away with it. And it's both. It's bipartisan.
That's why.
So
They
Yeah.
just blame the other side.
they
Yeah.
just blame the other side. Let's see. I think under Republican presidencies, they've increased the debt ceiling 46 times, and the under the Democrats like 20 something times. So it's on both sides.
So what's the actual number of the debt ceiling?
I think it's like 32 trillion or something like that.
But what?
And you guys want to hear something funny?
Wait, $32 trillion
Trillion
so.
dollars.
I
a
think so.
year? Oh, that's the credit?
total. That's a total amount of debt that we have, that we owe. The
And
total
we
amount.
blow that out every year.
No, it's not every year. It's not every year. It's the total amount of debt that we from 1917 on.
Okay.
It's not per year. It's not per year. No, it's not
I
per
was
year.
like, Jesus.
No. Are you crazy? We don't have that much money. No way.
I mean,
Yeah. So the Republicans under Republican presidents, they revised the debt limit 49 times. Under the Democratic presidents, 29 times. So both congressional leaders in both parties recognize that this is necessary. Because, like I mentioned, it's it's a weird process because we're fighting to literally raise money that we've already spent. That's all it is. It's like in simpler terms, it's like this. Congress.
I said we're fighting to raise money on money that we already voted to spend.
We're fighting for we're fighting to raise that money, which we already allocated and spent. Yes. Yeah. So it's in simplest terms, it's like this. Congress says you can raise $10. Yeah, you can raise $10. You can only spend you can only spend $12. No, you could You raise 10, you owe 12, but you can't raise the 2. That's not changing the debt ceiling. So the Treasury's asked, okay, you gotta raise funds. I mean, you collect tax, right? You collect, let's say, $10 worth of taxes, right? Those $10 are allocated to different programs, but we owe $12.
Where are we supposed to get that money from?
By raising bonds, and that's literally the process. You collect taxes, you have these bills that you got to pay. If you don't have if you don't have the amount of money that you raised to pay your bills, the Treasury has to go out and raise the remaining funds, right? And they raise it by creating these bonds and selling it out and just collecting this money. Raising the debt limit is just literally giving the ability for the Treasury to raise that money, which we've already spent and allocated for.
Where can I buy these bonds?
You can buy a Treasury Direct. I have one. Yeah, I have
one
a
bond. For how much?
I have one bond. How much does the government owe you?
I think I bought it for like $150.
So you need
but how much
to
do they
raise
owe
this
you?
debt ceiling?
Oh, they owe me so 150. I think they were giving about a 5%.
So you 75.
Yeah, they literally owe me the 150 for the life of the loan, and then like $5 of interest, or 5% of interest, 5%.
5%? That's not.
Yeah. So I don't think I made it clear, but literally, so the whole thing of the debt ceiling is literally the Congress saying, okay, Treasury, you go out, you collect taxes, but you can only collect $10 worth of taxes, right? However, our bills that we have to pay, Social Security, other loans that the federal government has, our bills are $12. Raising the debt ceiling is just literally telling the Treasury, okay, you guys collected 10, we owe 12, go out and collect the $2 more that we need. When you don't raise it, Congress is saying, okay, you collect 10, we owe 12, you can't collect the $2. That's literally all it is.
Listening to this, it seems like it's a way of not like allowing us to get out of hand and overspending. Is that what is it for? Like,
theoretically, that was
the idea.
That was the idea. Yeah.
Because then what's for us to just keep spending and then we don't actually collect anything, and you're not forcing other agencies to collect taxes or any of that stuff.
Well, that's where the debt ceiling is it's a problem that we've created, but it has real consequences, right? That's the issue. So let's say that the debt ceiling isn't raised or capped at a certain amount. Let's say $32 trillion. Federal government comes and gets, it's at 32. It can't borrow any more money. It still has these bills due. So what happens is you're gonna have to cut spending on stuff that you've already promised to pay. Social Security. You're talking about when doctors collect Medicare payments. money to soldiers, bills or loans that we've borrowed from other countries, and not to mention, if the biggest superpower in the world can't pay its debts, and the whole world economy is based on the U.S. being the number one, being able to, at least pay your debts, you're gonna send a shockwave all throughout the economy, because now everything's gonna be in flux. Stock market might, up and down, but it's all based on sentiment that the U.S. can't pay its debts, and these treasuries or these bonds that the U.S. government likes to give out in order to raise funds. If you are an investor, you're going to say, I think these bonds are risky and I want more of an interest to buy these bonds, which then leads to the government having to pay more when they borrow money, which means mortgage rates are going to go up, car loans are going to go up, student loan interest rates are going to go up, credit card bills are going to go up. So this man-made BS, it has really real world consequence.
The only reason why we're using this is just because of a bargaining chip. We know there's a better way, but we're only using this as a bargaining chip.
We can get rid of it. But neither side wants to, because like you mentioned, it's a bargaining chip. If I was in politics, I would use it hands on as a bargaining chip, and neither side wants to give that up. It's a tool. It's been a tool for a while now. There's really, from the little bit of research that I did, literally there's no other option. There's no other reasoning behind it, because you're going to spend that money. That money's already spent. That money's already allocated to be spent towards something. So you're literally just trying to, whenever anyone says, okay, we got to curb spending and we got to change it. Yes, but you're only doing it for the future. What you're arguing about is money you guys already spent and used up. So it makes no sense why all this is happening. And like I said, it's happens. We've raised the limit 79 times prior, and it's just going to continue to happen. Just why? Why not?
So when does it have to be raised by? Is there a fucking deadline?
Good question. So
thank you. I'm known for good questions.
So the economists, the people that know, don't actually know when the federal government is going to run out of money. They don't know. It all depends on when the Treasury collects this money from taxes, when all that money comes in. But they can't pinpoint an actual date. So
why not?
Because they can't figure it out.
Wait, we don't have fucking accountants or some shit?
I feel like it's maybe so many moving parts that they actually don't know.
That's terrible.
So June 1st is I think they call it the X date or something like that. The date where they're oh, if we don't get something done, if we don't get something passed by this date, we're all screwed. But guess what? The federal government technically hit the debt limit in January.
So we're already past.
Did someone tell Brandon about this?
Yeah, and only what? Who's Brandon?
Does Brandon know about this?
Let's go, Brandon.
Who's Brandon?
Are you serious? You don't know the whole fucking meme?
No.
Let's go, Brandon.
About let's go, Brandon.
No, man. Who's Brandon? Tell me. I want to know.
Joe Biden.
When Biden was going up for election against Trump, they say it was Donald Trump Jr. or some shit like that. They were trying to say "fuck you, Biden" at these stadiums and arenas. So as a way to hide that, they started saying "let's go, Brandon."
And then if you listen to it, it's fuck Joe Biden. Look, they're saying "let's go, Brandon."
And so if you see bumper stickers that say "let's go, Brandon," it means fuck Joe Biden. But now the whole other side of it is that people that support Biden just call him Brandon. As they have taken over the meme, or when
we're screwed to begin with,
or when Biden starts getting sassy, they start calling him Dark Brandon.
Dark Brandon.
Hey, you just gotta lean into it, Yeah. So Brandon.
So no one told Brandon about this.
I don't think they've told a lot of people. So
So
They've
we're
hit-
already past due. It's
We've already
just,
passed due, and
we
only
don't know.
by-
We don't even know when we're gonna run out of money.
No, that's why they estimate either early June or possibly late as July or August. So,
I gotta
and
buy
only
more
because they
ammunition.
claim extraordinary measures
Oh,
they've taken to try to curb this. I guess what they've done is maybe they've stopped paying money into a lot of these funds, a lot of these pension funds. That maybe what they're doing.
Well, they stopped giving me a raise. So that's probably why.
Oh, well, there you go.
what? They're just kicking the can down the road for money things.
Yep.
Huh.
Which, in essence, has its own issues too. They don't know if it's legal for the U.S. government to say we're going to pay this bill and not this bill. So it's a lot of this is it's this stuff is made up, but it has some real world consequences.
So now, when we get every time we get to this, right? I remember there's always like that ceiling where they'll like, all right, now we're laying off or furloughing federal workers, and we're not. What's that called? Do you remember that? It's like we're running on like where we basically don't pay certain bills, and they're shutting the post office down.
Yeah, I think when they do like a government
shutting down the
shutdown, right?
government. Yeah.
yeah.
Sequester?
Sequester?
I don't think that's the word, but it sounds good.
Yeah, it's something like that, right?
Is that Liam Neeson movie?
Yeah. You never seen Sequestered?
Give me
It's
my
where he
car.
he takes his stepdaughter and then he kills everyone related to his stepdaughter.
Was that Sequester 2 or Sequester 1?
No, Sequestered 2, Liam Neeson didn't come back. They replaced him with Jason Statham.
God, that's the
And
one
he just drove a BMW.
And yeah, and then
an Audi.
he just drove a car, and his name was Chip Chelios.
Chip Chelios.
Chip Chelios.
So it was a Guy Ritchie movie.
Yeah, it was.
Sequester 2 is by Guy Ritchie. Yeah.
Sequestered. Coming in theaters near you. Sequestered 2.
Rated PG-13. So yeah, I think what you're talking about is like to be honest, I'm not sure. I know there's some similarities, but I think they're a little bit different.
Yeah, I think that's what it was, the sequester. So they usually do that every single time, right? Like, oh, we're running out of money, sequester.
No, because they're not doing it now. So I think it's a little bit different. I think that's the budget when they're not doing a budget. This is a little bit different because they're actually collecting money.
Okay.
And they just got to raise the amount of money that they can actually try to collect. That's just when they don't have a budget.
Mm-hmm.
So they have to like start, laying off people or like furloughing employees because they don't
I
have
think
the
they
money
should
to pay.
start laying off congressmen.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like the guys who were making the decisions are not accountable.
Yeah, I feel
But
like
that's always though.
exactly. This
This
is
is a
why we
bad-
should start eating the rich people. We solve
Mm.
world hunger, child famine by feeding them rich people.
And then how do we know who's rich? How do we know who's rich?
They're not coming to the meetings, the poor meetings.
They're not listening to this podcast.
Because if you look, I mean, rich people are usually poor on paper.
Good point. Good point. You know what?
Yeah,
Let's just
so
blame
we're
the
gonna
poor.
start
then.
eating the.
Let's just blame the poor all over again.
Well, we can't blame the poor because there's a lot of poor, and then they'll just overtake the government. I think we
okay.
should blame the middle class.
You know what? Yeah, that middle class has been living large for
I
way
vote
too
for
long.
you, sir.
Let's eat the middle class.
Yeah, let's eat the middle class.
You got my vote.
I'll come up with one. Sequester for dinner, or something like something like that. Yeah, the middle class has got to go.
Represent your dinner.
That's that.
That's the debt ceiling.
That's
all its
In a
stealiness?
nutshell. In a nutshell.
In a
In a
nutshell,
nutshell?
it is. In a nutshell, it is. It's just raising money or giving the treasury the ability to raise money by by creating loans or treasuries for money that's already been spent. That's it.
Who's controlling the treasury nowadays?
Janet Yellen does it, right?
Still, I don't know.
I
Tell
think she
me.
does it. Yeah. I think that's
You're
her.
you're the fucking expert.
Oh, I didn't go into that.
Jenny
I was
Allen,
looking at ceilings.
isn't
That's what I was
she
looking at.
the
How tall is she?
She could be our starting point guard.
yes, United States Secretary of Treasury, Janet Yellen. So she's running the show here.
She's 5'3".
She's 5'3".
She can't even see the ceiling.
I mean, not like a 9-foot, vaulted ceiling or anything.
What did you call it earlier? A Galadriel ceiling or
A
something?
Galadriel,
Is that
a
what you
flying
called it?
buttress. I mean,
Flying
you really got to
buttress.
be an architect. You got to be an architect to solve this debt ceiling. It seems like, and we just have a bunch of economists.
Yeah, we need a few good contractors. That's what we need.
Yeah, we got to ask like Pedro and like some like Albanian guy, like with a contracting company, and then they come in. They'll fix this fucking debt ceiling for us.
Hello, Mr. George. How much you pay for the new guy? $20? No, too much money. He's no good operator.
We'll get it done. All right. Well, I guess I'm gonna buy more RX bars
Do it.
because we're fucked. We are totally fucked, and they're not fixing this thing. And we're gonna do it again. How often do they vote on it? Like, how often is it? Every 3 years? Every 4 years? We get to
It
this?
depends. So it depends on the amount of money. Like, I'm assuming that what they're gonna do is they're gonna vote for a certain extension that will probably run maybe a couple more years, and then in a couple of more years we're gonna have the same political theater.
Mm.
So, like I said, I was going through it. I'm like, okay, this is dumb. This is really dumb because it's literally over. It's the same thing over and over again. And then they, trot out these people on the news, and you're like, am I missing something?
Yeah, I think it's just the majority of people don't understand what it is and how stupid it actually is.
Well, then after this podcast, they're gonna understand even less.
I don't think anyone's listening to this episode.
I'm not listening.
No,
Jet ceiling. Watch, we get an influx of Danish listeners, and they're all pissed.
You.
How
I love
dare
Danish.
you insult the great nation of Denmark? I don't know why I'm using a French accent.
I was gonna say it sounds pretty French, but
I don't know what Danish people sound like.
The French are not gonna come after us.
No,
No
but-
croissants.
I'm gonna keep an eye out on this stuff because this sounds ridiculous.
So when did we have until what, June 1st until we start fighting?
Yeah, I think so. So like June 1st is when Yellen was like, we need to figure something out by then. Because like I said, this is made up by us. This is a self-inflicted wound that we always we do it to ourselves. But it does have some real world, consequences. You don't want to default on your debt as a country, because you've seen other countries, become default, and it's not Greece, and it's not good. It's just not a good look, especially for the U.S. Superpower, because let's just say, just to argue, and neither party agrees, and they're like, we're gonna go down, whatever. What happens? Well, you gotta downgrade the U.S. and you gotta say that they're risky. So that's the backbone of the whole world economy.
That's not gonna happen again.
No, I'm saying let's just say it does, because I feel like a lot of the time these people are upset because of the consequences are real. So you got to downgrade the American federal government. Stock market is probably going to take a hit. Everything is going to go up. You're going to lose jobs because people are not going to be able to afford, because people are not going to get money.
So knowing all this stuff, what's your prediction? You think they're gonna raise it?
Yeah.
Yes, they're going to raise it, and most likely in 2-3 years, maybe 4 years, and they'll probably right back again with this.
So what you're telling me, I don't need to worry about this shit.
No.
So when I see this thing in the news, do I just not care? Because it just
Actually,
seems like
next
a lot
time you watch the news, listen to what they're saying. And I guarantee you, they're going to be saying a little bit of something what I'm saying now. They're going to talk about the consequences, but they're not really going to talk about what exactly it is. They're not going to talk about the fight between the two sides. They're not going to talk about what actually is the debt limit.
Right. So we know the consequences, but no one's going to take it there.
No. It's a game of chicken.
It's a game of chicken.
And like I
It's
said,
just political
they're
chicken.
arguing, and this is the dumbest thing, for money that they've already spent.
For money that they've already voted on
To spend.
to
Right.
spend.
Yes. Like, so when they say, okay, we got to curb spending, yes, you have to curb spending. Great. but it's for the future. You're voting for the past. It's like you going out using your Visa credit card, spending all this money, and telling Visa, "Hey, I'm not paying this." What? You already
do
spent
that?
it. Yeah, you can do that. See what happens.
I could tell Visa that I'm not pay. I'll be like, listen, Visa, I'm gonna go and sell some bonds that I'm gonna eventually fucking pay back.
See what you get in the mail.
I think I should be allowed to do that.
Why not? Companies can do it.
Yeah, companies can do it. I can be like, listen, I will eventually pay you back. I gotta sell some bonds first. I already spent this money. You ain't getting it back.
Once you start learning things, you're like, none of this makes sense. And especially because there's only 2 countries that use it. And one of them, it's so high, they're never going to reach it.
So with other countries, how do they not have a problem of overspending? Do they have different checks and balances?
I don't know if it's overspending or if it's just like...
I mean, it seems like the reason why we have a debt ceiling is to have like a checks and balances on overspending, right? So that there's always accountability and always a vote to get back to it. That's what it seems like. That's what I would think is the reason why we have it. And then we're just abusing this system for political gain. That's what it seems like. Other countries are not doing this shit, right? And whatever system they have might be better, but dude, I'm sure they have the same checks and balances. Well, we don't know how it's better or how it's different.
Yeah, I didn't really go into it. All I know is that they have their own, public finance stuff. And I'm assuming there are budget cuts, but this debt ceiling, the idea, the theory behind it is only applies to us in Denmark. So I'm assuming that they do have some sort of limit where they say, well, we're not going to spend, but it doesn't apply to like just their own government being able to work. That's the problem. Like when I wanted to research it and I wanted to look into like what the outside world thinks of this situation when they look into it, but I didn't really get a chance to. But I'm assuming like when in 2013 when they downgraded us, right? They standards. I think the grading agency was Standards and Poor's. I think they mentioned that the reason why was because of bipartisan bickering. That it's not a way to lead to a functioning government, you know, because it doesn't make sense.
I bet you the guy who made that call is fired.
No, he's probably a president now. It's Brandon.
We did it, Joe.
Yeah.
Listen here, bub. Listen here, bub.
Come on, Jack. Come on, Jack. We got to raise that ceiling, Jack. Back in Pennsylvania, I went down to Mr. Joe McGee. We used to call him cigarettes, and he used to grab kids by the shoulder, and I said, "Hey, you can't do that, Cigarette McGee."
And that's probably word for word, like verbatim.
I'm pretty sure I've heard him do that in a speech. And I'm just like, what are we even talking about? God, I love Brandon.
1.2 billion. So you go ahead and you stack spaghetti sauce at a store and in a supermarket. You control the guy or the woman who brings out the carts on a forklift. What happens?
He's got to wear a helmet on that bike.
I fucking love Brandon. He's so awesome.
Yeah, you know what? Maybe that dead sling might not go up. I don't know. All right, so I'm not worried about it.
We didn't even need to talk about this at all.
Yeah, this is...
I could be wrong. I'm probably wrong.
Nah, I think you're right, man.
That's on you guys for listening. Idiots.
I mean, it sounds like a...
But seriously, just YouTube it. And I guarantee you're going to see different videos, different times, like 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 5 years ago, 3 years ago. And they're saying this exact same thing. The exact same thing. And this time is different because this time it's now. You know what I'm saying? Like that. Yeah. But each time it's just for the same reasons. Do you guys know who owns our debt?
Are most of our bonds?
Yeah. Just our,
Is it China?
China.
Is it China?
China.
Well, you would be somewhat right, mostly wrong.
Wow. So
Yeah.
all those people, like all those like conservatives and all those other fucking people that are like, China owns us. We're gonna start speaking Chinese soon. Are you telling me that they're full of shit?
Yes, they are.
What?
Yes,
Oh,
they
shit.
are.
So who is it? Who owns us?
Yeah. So what
Here-
art language will we be speaking?
Here we go. So a third
Shock
of that. A third of our debt is owned by Americans and American corporations. So you got banks, insurance companies, and even pension funds. 40%, and this I still don't understand how. 40% of that federal debt is owned by the federal government. It still doesn't make sense to me. It says that like these intra government agencies own each other's debts. Maybe that's part of it.
But they buy each other's fucking.
Maybe
debt?
one agency owes another agency, and that's why. Like, I think that's. To be honest, I still have no idea what that means.
Because don't like certain municipalities create bonds and then they sell those bonds and then the federal government will buy those bonds back.
There you go. Maybe that's what.
So maybe it's something like that. So it is like we
Are
buy
you
our own
a
debt back.
fucking economist, man?
I took a course online.
Nah,
I have a
man. You stay at
certificate.
the Holiday Inn Express. That's it.
That's what I did. I have a pen. That's all it was.
And then lastly, 25% of our debt is owned by foreign nationals. And the highest holder of that debt is not China, but China owns about 4%. It's actually Japan. Japan overtook China. It owns about like 4.3% of the debt.
They took it, miniaturized it, made it more efficient.
Yep. So all those people that are saying that we are indebted to China, I have no idea what the fuck they're talking about.
We're indebted to Japan.
We're indebted to our own federal government.
So 25% of our debt is owned by foreign nationals, and only 6% of that is Japan, and the highest holder, and 4% of that
4.3%
is China.
Japan, which is the highest holder, and then Japan is around 4%.
I thought it was going to be a lot higher than that.
A lot of countries, man.
A lot of government debt. But I'm sure they own a lot of our assets, though. You know, like they come over here and buy buildings and
That I'm not sure. That I'm not sure.
Now, did
But,
that number go up? Or is that
Huh?
number gone? I wonder if that number has increased or decreased. Because then that'll
the
show
assets?
kind of for how much debt they owe. That'll kind of show us how they think.
Well, to be honest, China has been selling a lot of its
Yeah.
treasury securities.
I think
And
they
that's
know where-
that could be because of I think we mentioned a couple of podcasts ago about this, geopolitical stuff that's going on. China, Russia, and I think Brazil are they're leading the way in this what they call de-dollarization of currency, where they're trying to create one currency to try to battle the dollar.
The Amero?
I think, and I might be wrong, I think they're heading towards sort of a global coupon economy, kind of like Gap Bucks or 10% off massages.
So every
you know-
month
you know-
I get
The coupon book, the coupon book you get? I think they're leading to that.
every month I get 20% off at Bed Bath & Beyond.
But you can only use it at the end of the third month.
And if it's on sale already, you're done.
You can't.
You
So,
can't use it. All right, well, that'd be cool.
yeah. Hey,
That'd be
10% off massages.
Check your mailboxes, people.
So yeah. So that's it's a little bit about the debt ceiling. And based on my little research, I think, it's more political theater than anything else. Unfortunately, it does have some real world consequences.
Yeah, I think Hamilton mentions it in their play.
Really?
No, I have no fucking clue.
I was gonna
you
say
have you guys
'cause
seen
I
it?
watched it. I watched it.
Did you?
It's very good. It's very
Did you?
good. I
Did you actually watch
Did
it?
you actually go see it, or is it?
No, I didn't go. I mean, I didn't go see it. I watched it on like Disney or whatever it was. Disney Plus.
Was
How was it?
Lin-Manuel doing it?
It was good. Yeah, Emmanuel. What's his name?
Lin-Man-
Rivera.
Lin-Man-
Lin-Manuel
Lin-
Rivera, Miranda.
Yeah,
Miranda.
Miranda.
Lin-Manuel Miranda
Miranda.
did do it. It was good. It was good.
Is it like knowledgeable?
It is. It goes in. It really like it goes into it. It's pretty good. I would recommend seeing it. It's long though. It's like 3.5 hours or something like that. There's an intermission.
Oof.
Yeah.
Oof.
No, I would definitely watch it if you have Disney Plus.
It's longer than the debt ceiling debate.
Well, it's gonna go on forever.
Hey.
Make sure you put some drums in that. Did it? Because it always comes up. I feel like this topic always comes up, and I'm like, and at a certain point, we kind of like have to like actually read into it, and after reading, you're like, are these guys fucking serious? This is what they're spending our money on?
Well, they're not talking about it in the media. They're not talking about what it is. They're just talking about what it could do. They're just scaring us again.
Yeah.
You know, that's all they're doing. Like, oh, if we don't get this thing settled, the world's gonna end. It's like, but all right, well, what are we actually talking about? And then when you read it, you're like, really, guys?
They literally go like, if this doesn't get settled, the economy collapses. Everyone's losing their jobs. You won't be able to get gasoline. Trucks just fucking pull over on the side of the road, and like, you know, buildings start collapsing. That's literally what they said. This is like part of the fucking problem of just fucking 24-hour news networks constantly looking for fucking dramatization and all this other shit, and politicians completely just taking complete advantage of this.
Yeah, this is the media. This is the media.
There's nothing to them for them to report, so they take something as the debt ceiling, something that really no one should really pay attention to.
And to be honest, only the high profile ones get this kind of coverage, because like I mentioned, since 1960, it's been increased or suspended 78 times. We haven't heard 78 news cycles or 78 different times where this is an issue, right? It's only
And
when
what
they
do you-
want it.
Why do you think it's
well,
such
hold on.
an?
You said
yeah.
since when?
1960.
All right, and you said 78, right?
Yeah.
All right, so it's been 63 years since 1960. So this debate has come up, or the debt ceiling has been increased more than once every year. So every year this debate comes up. Like, this is ridiculous. Who gives a fuck?
But not on the news cycle, and that's the difference. So, like, only these high profile, and I don't know what leads to this. I'm assuming when the Congress, the presidency are at odds with each other, that's when all this stuff comes to the forefront.
So they probably build it into small little bills where they increase. Okay, we'll do this. We'll build a post office, and then we'll increase the debt ceiling. And then it only comes up in election years where they actually talk about it.
Or soon to be, yep.
Because then everyone's going to just use it. But they probably do this annually because they come back and revisit it.
They come back, and then just sometimes it becomes this fervor in the news where, like, oh, we got to do this, we got to do that. Like I mentioned, the consequences are real, yes. But like,
so it's a matter of educating the public on
which
how
they're not gonna
stupid this is.
They're not going to do.
Yeah, but we are. We're going to do it.
This might have made people stupider.
No, it did.
Definitely.
Listen, I walked away here knowing what the debt ceiling is. So I'm cool with that.
A little bit at least.
Yeah. I didn't know what it was.
Because it's funny, because a lot of this debt is from policies from previous presidents.
So again, we have to blame Obama.
Yeah.
It's always Obama's fault.
I knew it. He's a bad actor.
I stubbed my toe the other day. Fucking Obama.
He was like, Victor, go fuck yourself.
That was good.
It was pretty good. Honestly,
good.
though, I miss him speaking, though.
Yeah, he had
Like,
he had a voice.
he had a voice. He had a tone.
He was
the way
classy
he would
too.
deliver
Classy
stuff.
guy.
Oh, God, he'd use big words. Like, talk about fucking making a speech and like
And he
you felt
looked
moved.
good. He was fit. He played basketball.
Yeah.
Right. You were like, fuck, this guy's like,
Yeah.
this is
Definitely a
America.
player.
Yeah,
Catch him in
that-
college, he
yeah.
was definitely.
This was America.
Oh.
You look up to him and like you're like, God damn! Like I'm glad this guy's fucking talking about us.
Yeah. Yeah. You were like, man, I hope they don't fucking take this guy out. 'Cause this
This guy's
dope.
awesome.
They didn't.
Like, have you
They
ever
didn't.
listened to it? Like when he does like any fucking interviews or stuff like that, or like now you just like listen. You're like, God damn, I missed this.
Yeah.
Like I would fucking listen to this guy speak all day.
And now we're just like, we have two idiots just talking.
Oh, my,
Constant crap.
we've had what?
Who's
how
the
many-
next guy? Who's
How
the
long
next guy
is
we're getting?
how long has he been in office, Brandon?
Only one term.
You're right. No, how long? Like
He ain't
3
doing
years,
another
right?
one.
2024 is the next election.
right. So about what 3 years?
He cannot do another one.
All right. So we've
I
had
don't think
seven,
he has it in him.
We've had 7 years of just buffoons,
Yeah. Right?
right?
Who's the next guy? Death Santis?
We don't know. Death Santis is deciding to run. Meatball Ron.
I'm riding in The Rock. You heard it here first. Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
He should run.
We need muscles in that
Who
office.
gives a
man.
shit? Who gives a shit at this point?
We
Yeah.
need muscles in that office. And then his vice president, Vin Diesel, because we always need family.
Who do you have? Fucking. Because you have Brandon, right? You have
You have
Well,
Carmella.
who?
For the win.
Carmella Harris?
For the three.
Oh, yo,
I haven't seen her do anything.
bro.
She hasn't opened
you know
up a
why?
school. She hasn't. I haven't seen her unveil
You know
a
why?
park.
Have you
what is
ever
she
listened-
doing?
You ever listen to her speak?
No.
She sucks the charisma out of every room. she like
Just like Mike Pence. That
No,
guy was kinda weird, too.
he adds like the
Mother.
Mike Pence adds the undertones of like homosexual fucking like suppression into every room. You're like, dude, you're obviously
Like-
fucking you're obviously gay, and that's okay. That's fine. But
No,
like,
man, he
stop
went
just
to
denying
conversion
it. Tell
therapy
your
in Ohio.
wife.
He's good.
Yeah,
No, did he really?
What?
I don't know. I think he's promoting it or something.
I thought he sent it one of his kids or something.
Yeah,
or he used to
yeah.
promote it.
And I think he called his wife mother. So I don't know.
Yeah. But like Kamala she sucks the charisma out of like she's every word that comes out of her mouth. Like you're just dead. It's flat.
Yeah, I don't really like her. Like I heard her talk once, and I was like, I don't know anything about her, but I just don't like her. And we'll see who the next guy is, or girl, or they.
We'll see who the next person to fuck up the debt ceiling.
Do some research. If I'm wrong, come at me. I'll be glad to
I
say.
think it'll be pretty easy.
I'll be glad to say I'm wrong.
Tweet us. Tweet
Tweet
us.
us,
On,
okay?
Tweet us at I'm not dumb but.
Let us know what you think about the debt ceiling. Yeah.
Tell us what you actually think. If I was wrong, which I probably am, we'll have this discussion in a couple of years again. And you can run this podcast one more time.
No, but things change. Things get updated. We are trying to just talk about what we see, what we know, and throw that information out there. I had no
Alright.
idea.
Rob, what'd you learn today, man?
I'm not worried about this debt ceiling, and I'm gonna keep prepping for the next one. I'm gonna keep prepping.
What about you, Victor?
I learned I need to be wary of the Danish, the people, not just the pastry. And I don't know. I'm not really worried about the debt ceiling. I think it's bullshit. I'm just sick of the games that they fucking play in Washington to just try to push these things so they can push certain agendas. Just do your fucking job. If I'm forced to go to work every day and do my fucking job, just do your fucking job.
All right. Just do your job. I learned that this issue arises again and again and again and again because at this point it is a political tool used by whichever side to try to get some concessions out of it. Unfortunately, it does have some real world consequences, but I don't think we're ever going to get to the point where the U.S. will ever default on its obligations. If we reach that point, we're probably all screwed. But I doubt it. So if you liked what you heard here today, please pass this podcast along, and we'll catch you on the next one. Deuces.
Later.